Hi, hello. I welcome all the 4th sem students for the today's video demonstration class of the course Analog Circuits Lab. Myself, Manjunath Ji, working as assistant professor in the Department of E&CE, BITM, Ballari. Today, I will be demonstrating some of the simulation based experiments as a part of the curriculum in the course Analog Circuits Lab. These are the list of experiments that I would like to demonstrate for the today's session. The first experiment, RC phase shift oscillator using operational amplifier MuA741. The second experiment, a stable and monostable multivibrator using 555 timer. The last set of experiment will be related to precision rectifiers, half wave rectifier and full wave rectifier. As a part of the software simulation demo, I have considered the very first experiment, that is RC phase shift oscillator. The RC phase shift oscillator is a type of oscillator which is constructed with the help of RC networks and operational amplifier. The theoretical concept of RC phase shift oscillator, I hope you might have studied in the previous semester in the course Analog Circuits Theory. But still, I will be explaining in brief how this RC phase shift oscillator works, okay, with some design considerations. This is the circuit which I have designed in the Multisim software. The Multisim software of the version 12.0 I have used here to simulate this experiment. Okay, the RC phase shift oscillator, the name comes because of the use of series of RC networks. Okay, here the three stage network is connected. Okay, this is one pair, this is a second pair, third pair. Okay, and one particular pair of RC will be generating a 60-degree phase difference. Okay, as a combined effect from this three-stage RC network is able to generate 180-degree phase shift. As you all know that oscillator is a circuit which will generate a sinusoidal oscillations of the given frequency. Here the circuit is designed to generate a sustained oscillations for the required frequency. In order to produce a sustained oscillations, you need to satisfy certain criteria, and those criteria are known as Barkhausen criteria. A very first condition is A into beta should be equals to 1, where A is the voltage gain of the amplifier and beta is the attenuation factor. If you take a product of A into beta, you should get unity or greater than unity in order to produce sustained oscillations. And also the second condition should be met, and the condition is the closed loop phase shift should be 360-degree or 0-degree. The phase shift around the loop from the circuit, it would be 360-degree or 0-degree. If you are able to satisfy all these two criteria, then you can able to generate sustained oscillations. In this experiment, this RC network with a 3 stage will generate 180 degree phase shift, and this is input to the inverting terminal of the op amp. In turn, this inverting op amp will produce external 180 degree additional 180 degree phase difference. 180 degree produced by this network plus 180 degree produced by this amplifier will cause 360 degree phase shift around the closed loop. Hence, one of the condition is satisfied. The other condition, A into beta, it should be equals to 1 at least, or greater than or equals to 1. Okay, and beta is the attenuation factor. Okay, if some input is expected, if some input is given here for the network, and what is the output expected? The output what you get from this network, okay, it will be attenuated signal by a factor of 1 by 29. Okay, if you apply 2 volts at the input of the network, at the output you will be expecting 1 by 29th of that particular input. So there is a attenuation, 29 times the input signal will be attenuated. Okay, in order to compensate that, we need to set the required gain. Okay, where A is the voltage gain of the amplifier and beta is the attenuation factor. If the attenuation factor is 1 by 29, then in order to achieve the first condition, the A should be at least 29 or greater than 29. So in this case, the voltage gain of the amplifier, it should be greater than 29. The feedback resistor I have used here with the value 33 kilo ohm, and the input resistor is 1 kilo ohm. The voltage gain of the inverting configuration is already well known. It is equals to minus RF by R1. 33K divided by 1K will give 33 as the voltage gain. It is greater than 29. The one condition is met. And if this circuit is producing 180 degree, and in turn this amplifier is also producing 180 degree, that minus sign indicates the 180 degree phase difference. Okay, once if it is able to produce a 360 degree overall phase shift, then you can easily generate oscillations of the required frequency. So what is the formula for getting such a frequency of oscillations? For RC phase shift oscillator, the frequency equation is given by 1 by 2 pi root 6 into RC. We have used 3-stage network. Considering 3-stage network, the equation for F is equals to 1 by 2 pi root 6 into RC. Okay, F is fixed here. I have assumed some specifications. In this experiment, the specifications are frequency of oscillations. It is considered approximately 6.5 kilohertz. To generate 6.5 kilohertz signal, I have appropriately chosen the values of R and C. If R equals to 1K and C equals to 0.01 microfarad, okay, you can able to produce a signal of frequency approximately 6.5 kilohertz. And these two resistors are responsible to meet the first requirement. A into beta should be equals to 1 or greater than 1. Okay, this will be the complete circuit. And this is the expected output from the circuit, and it is the oscillation produced by the circuit in the form of a sinusoidal waveform, and the frequency measured here is approximately 5.7 kilohertz. There is a small deviation, okay, in the practical result from the expected theoretical calculation due to some of the factors. Okay, and the peak to peak voltage, it is observed from the output is 22.2 volts. It depends upon the gain factor. Okay, so this is what I would like to demonstrate for the today's presentation. So I'll directly move on to the actual demo, how to design a circuit, analog circuit from the Multisim software. I hope all of you have installed Multisim software, and also in the earlier semester you might have learnt how to use a Multisim software. Okay, so click on Multisim software, and one empty space will come. This is a workspace where you can design your circuit. Okay, first step, first make sure that whether the components are available in the library or not. Okay, I believe most of the components what you would like to design in your circuit are all available in the library. First pick the components and place it on the workspace. Later you can rig up with the help of a wire and use the virtual instruments, and you can measure the output. Okay, click on place and click on component. Okay, repeatedly if you are choosing components, just press Ctrl W as your shortcut. Component. So this is the master database in which there are several groups: sources, basic, diodes, transistors, etc. Okay, as a part of this experiment I am only utilizing some set of groups: sources for power supplies, basic for passive elements, analog for op amp. Okay, so here the circuit is designed using op amp. Just click on op amp. Okay, so there are number of op amp ICs or configurations are available. You can choose any one of this op amp IC, or if you want a 741 you can choose 741. Okay, next I want to choose a set of resistors okay, feedback resistor 33K, okay, 1K input resistor. Next again I want 1K 3 pairs, capacitors 0.01, 3 numbers, sorry, capacitor 3 number 1, 2, 3. Next choose sources. I want DC power supply to power up the op amp. Okay, with plus 12 and minus 12, one for plus 12 and another one for minus 12, and I want ground points. So let me take some more ground points here. Okay, you can copy paste the elements if you want to use repeatedly. Okay, Okay, let me connect all the components as per the circuit diagram. Okay, first power of the op amp. Okay. The pin number 7 is a positive 12 volts. It is to be connected to positive 12 volts. So positive terminal of the battery should be connected to pin number 7. So I'll flip this source. Okay, and at the other end of the battery should be connected to ground point. Next, you flip this vertically so that you can connect the negative terminal of the positive terminal only, negative terminal. The negative terminal of the battery should be connected to pin number 4, and the other end of the battery, which is positive terminal of the battery, should be connected to ground in order to produce minus 12 volts. Okay. Next, these capacitors are connected in series. Okay, you can use arrow marks here to pull down the resistors or capacitors, any components. Okay, so input resistor. Okay, I'll change the value here, 1K, and I'll use R2 for 33K. Okay, if you double click on any component, it will display the properties. You can change there itself, or you can change while taking the component from the component list. It's your wish. Okay, pin number 2. Okay, I'll connect later. Okay, it should be connected to the one end of the resistor R1. Okay, there is no enough space here to connect the feedback resistor R3. The other end of the pin number 3 should go to ground. I'll use this ground point. Okay, it is connected. Okay, R2 is a feedback resistor. Okay, I'll connect here. No issues. Ultimately, all the connections should be made as per the circuit diagram. Okay, pin number 2. This resistor, feedback resistor, should be connected between pin number 2 and pin number 6. Okay, then only remaining connections is with the resistors. Okay, it is not required R3, R4, R5. Okay, for convenience you make it vertical, so rotate the resistors by 90 degree. Okay, R3, R4, R5. Okay, wire it up. Okay, it should be connected to pin number 6. the loop should be closed. Okay, and I want one more ground point. The other end of the 3 resistors should be grounded. So first connect all the 3 ends. And it should be grounded. I think the circuit connection is over and supplied with appropriate supply voltage plus 12 minus 12. Okay, and it is required to observe the output voltage or output waveform. Okay, there are number of instruments over here presented: multimeter, function generator, wattmeter, oscilloscope, Bode plot. There are number of virtual instruments. As per the need, you choose the appropriate virtual instrument for your measurement. So here I want to measure the output waveform. Okay, so I am using CRO. Okay, there are different varieties of CROs. So this is the oscilloscope and it is very simple. And manual adjustment need to be done more here. Okay, it is not so user friendly. So I will always avoid using this type of oscilloscope. Instead I will take oscilloscope which is developed by Esilent. Okay, from the vendor Esilent. So this is a very sophisticated oscilloscope where you can clearly see the waveform, and you also feel like we are doing the experiment and we are measuring in real time in the actual lab. Okay, that feel you will get if you use this oscilloscope. The other end of the oscilloscope is to be connected to ground. If you are using 2 channels, then you can use this as a first channel and this as a second channel. I don't use a second channel because I want to display only sinusoidal waveform that is expected, so I am using only 1 channel. So I want a ground point one more, so I will be taking the same copy of the ground point from the circuit, or else you can press Ctrl W and you can choose from the list. Okay, this is totally done, and now the time for output verification. Okay, you save the file. Okay, I will give name RC phase shift oscillator. Okay, the expected output will come as per the expectation. This is my CRO on which I am observing my waveform. So double click on this. So switch on the power supply. Already output is available. Okay, you can vary the time division knob for clear visibility. Also you can increase the scale, voltage scale, or you can decrease the voltage scale as per the requirement. Okay, there are number of options on this particular CRO. You can stop the waveform. Okay, you can measure the parameters like frequency, time period, peak to peak voltage. Okay, you can move the cursor X and Y, and if I press auto scale, then the waveform will come as it is when it was earlier. Okay, and you can also print the waveform if the the particular software support this option only if it is licensed. Okay, like that you can use number of options for quick measurement. So I will be using here quick measure. As expected, my frequency should be approximately 6 kilohertz. Okay, from this circuit it is observed that the frequency is approximately 5.79 or 5.8 kilohertz. It is varying. Okay, 5.75 kilohertz. You can stop the waveform, no problem. Okay, you can also measure the peak to peak voltage, 22.2 volts, and it is not required right now. It is not really important for us. The frequency is important for us. Okay, frequency is very important. 5.73 kilohertz. It is varying. The sustained oscillations are produced from the RC phase shift oscillator by satisfying the Barkhausen criteria. So this is how you can simulate and you can check, cross verify the results from any analog circuit or any digital circuit. Okay, it is very easy to use and it is very user friendly. The main advantage here is it incorporates number of virtual instruments. Okay, even though if you are not available in the lab, you can carry out your experiments at your place. Okay, in this way you can simulate a number of experiments, okay, as listed before. Okay, there are 4 experiments as prescribed in the syllabus. Okay, I have demonstrated one out of which, RC phase shift oscillator. Similarly, I have simulated all the remaining experiments. Okay, I will just try to demonstrate quickly, okay, so that you can understand better. Later you can simulate on your own. Okay, the next experiment is astable, sorry, not class C, astable multivibrator. Okay, the theoretical concept of astable multivibrator is already studied. Also, the hardware experiment is done in the lab. Okay, quickly you observe how to simulate. Okay, this is a circuit which is designed for some specifications from the given requirements. Okay, R1, R2 33 kilo ohm and C1 is 0.01 microfarad. In this astable multivibrator, the given specifications are frequency and duty cycle. The astable multivibrator is used to produce a pulsed type waveforms or a square wave for the given duty cycle and frequency. Okay, here in this case the components are selected to produce a square wave or a pulsed waveform with a duty cycle 66.6% of the frequency 1.5 kilohertz. Okay, and this is the oscilloscope connected at the output. The one channel is connected to output of the 555 timer and the other channel is used for capacitor charging and discharging waveform, to see the capacitor charging and discharging. So let us demonstrate the output. Okay, this is channel 1, channel 2, both are selected. Okay, this pulsed like a waveform is representing the 555 timer output. This is the astable multivibrator output. It doesn't require any input. Without input it is giving some output. Okay, it is like a oscillator. Okay, it is a multi vibrator. Okay, it is going to switch between different sets. Okay, there is only one stable state here. Okay, there is only one stable state. There is no stable state for astable multivibrator. It will be continuously producing T on, T off, T on, T off, T on, T off. Okay, it is like a clock. Okay, you can use astable multivibrator for clock applications. You can produce any triggering pulses with the help of astable multivibrator. There is no stable state. Okay, okay, this is T on, this is T off. Okay, T on is more compared to T off because this is designed for 66.6%. Okay, and if you calculate the frequency, it will be 1.45 kilohertz. Theoretically, it is 1.5 kilohertz. Okay, you can separately measure T on and T off, and you take T and inverse of that, that will be frequency. And this on the second channel, okay, this is the capacitor charging and discharging. Okay, the capacitor charges from 1/3 VCC to 2/3 VCC. Okay, during the T on period, and during the T off period, the capacitor discharges from 2.3 to 1/3 VCC. Okay, like that it continues. Okay, that's all about the astable multivibrator. The next experiment, monostable multivibrator. Okay, the circuit is connected as per the circuit diagram. The explanation is already given, and also you did the hardware experiment in the lab, monostable multivibrator. Okay, quickly I will demonstrate. Monostable multivibrator will have only one stable state. Okay, once the trigger is given, it will go to unstable state, and it will be retained in the unstable state until some time delay elapses. Okay, it will produce a time delay up to certain period of time. Later it will go to stable state, and next it waits for the next trigger until once the trigger is applied, negative trigger, it will start producing delay. It is mainly used to produce a delay. Okay, once the trigger is applied. Okay, okay, here we are interested upon measurement of T on. Okay, the pulse width. Okay, here also I am using channel 1 and channel 2. Channel 1 is the output and channel 2 is the capacitor charging. The capacitor charges from 0 to 2/3 VCC. Okay, and this is a T on period or pulse width, and there is no T off concept here. Okay, this will be depend upon the time of trigger. Once the trigger is applied, and it will start producing the delay, and how much, that depends upon TD, RC value. Okay, 1.1 into RC. Based upon RC value, you are able to get the time delay. So here this is designed to produce a time delay of 0.5 millisecond. So total time is 1 millisecond. Okay, because the triggering input is a square wave with 50% duty cycle. Okay, of frequency 1 kilohertz. So total time period is 1 millisecond, out of which 0.5 millisecond is the pulse width. So this is the time delay. The frequency is 1 kilohertz. Okay, this is the expected output from the monostable multivibrator. You can produce required time delay by changing the R and C. Okay, this is the wave shaping network actually. Okay, used to produce a triggering pulse, because in this function generator there is no TTL input directly available. So square wave is converted into some triggering input, and that is given to the pin number trigger of the 355 timer. Whenever negative trigger applies onto that particular pin, and this will produce a delay of TD seconds. Okay, I'll stop here. Let us move on to the precision rectifiers. The precision full wave rectifier. So this is a circuit diagram. With the help of two diodes and the op amp, we can able to rectify the input signal. Okay, it is a full wave rectification, and this is a very precise rectification. This circuit can able to rectify even a small amount of voltage signal, analog signal which is applied to the circuit. It can able to give rectified output, okay, for the very small input signal. That's what is called precision full wave rectifier. Okay. Okay, you can run the simulation. Okay, I'll stop. Okay, you can see here it is the rectified output, and this is the input signal. The sinusoidal signal is rectified. It is full wave rectifier. Okay, based on the gain you will get the output voltage. Similarly, the half wave rectifier circuit, which consists of this set of elements, okay, this is also a precision rectifier, but it is a half wave rectifier. Okay, the negative off cycle is clipped off and the positive off cycle is available here, rectified output. This is the rectified output. You can change the polarity also by changing the direction of the diode. Okay, it is your wish. You can change the polarity of the diode and you can switch the rectification, whether you want a positive off cycle or a negative off cycle. Based on that you can do it. Okay, so this is a precision rectifier set of experiments. Okay, these experiments are explained very quickly. The details of these software experiments will be shared shortly in the Google Classroom. Please stay tuned for further updates, okay, online. So I will be closing this session with this precision rectifier. If any queries, please feel free to contact us and put questions over the Google Classroom. We are always ready to help you out. Okay, and I hope this session is helped you a lot in building your own circuit in a software platform. Okay, okay, we will share shortly the circuit diagram, design and all the necessary requirements for the preparation for the first internal and the external examinations. With this, I will be closing the session. Thank you.